Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I am coming to you from my classroom. I'm wrapping up summer school, and I thought this would be a great opportunity to share with you guys some of the resources and things that I plan to incorporate in this upcoming school year. Last year I did have notebook systems for my class, but I want to make it more intentional and do more interactive notebook style. And so I have some resources already prepared and some things that I need to find and look for to also incorporate into my notebooks. I'm planning to dive deeper into interactive notebooks this year is because I really think it might be more beneficial to have all of the resources in one location so that students can use it throughout the year for studying or to review, and it will be something that they can take with them into 6th grade. And I will show you guys my interactive notebook from last year, and then I'm going to show you guys some of the resources I have already prepared to go into my students' notebooks come August. If you're wondering why I'm in my classroom, it's because I'm wrapping up summer school. So I did teach summer school. It was a total of 13 days, which is technically three separate weeks, but we're on the last 4 days of summer school, and so I thought this was the best time to go ahead and start incorporating and filming some of the things that I'm planning and prepping for next year. This might help maybe first year teachers or just teachers that are digging into like how do they want to improve their school year going forward. So I hope this is helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and let's get started. All right, so this is my notebook from last year. I do not think I did the best job keeping things organized in this notebook, and so I want to do a lot better with organization and different activities for them to incorporate into their notebooks. But I'm just going to kind of show you guys what we did last year, and then kind of share how I plan to switch it up. When you open the notebooks, these are some things we glued in. This is the annotation tool, the cups little checklist to make sure when they are doing their writing, how to kind of check to make sure they are doing it correctly, a little proofreading markings, and so they just kind of glued these in. And I feel like this is a little bit random because annotating is when you are reading, this is when you are writing, again with writing. So I didn't organize this the best, and then we went straight into like vocabulary, comprehension, more vocabulary. So once again, comprehension, vocabulary is kind of the system that I kind of tried to keep up with. And then we have writing tools here, things that they can use when writing. And so what I want to do a little bit better next year is to separate vocabulary, maybe comprehension, writing a little bit better, and so that it's a little bit easier for them to navigate. So here we are with our strategies and skills, notes. So it was just very random, but like I feel like it did the job. Like we did fairly decent in this notebook over the year, but I just want to organize it a little bit better, and so I'm going to try to think that through to kind of just help improve the way it flows. And then in the back it's like prepositions, so things that were helpful but like just not organized. And so I want to really make sure I focus on the organization of their notebooks so that it's functional. And so I want them to have a better organization strategy. And so far what I have planned is covers, and then I want to make sure I am looking ahead, so using our curriculum to look ahead and see, okay, what are they focusing on this week? Are there any graphic organizers or things that I can print out to help with navigating that skill or standard? So that is something I'm still working on getting done, is like how can I look ahead and get things prepared in advance. And so what I have so far is the covers. So I have my math notebook covers here. Here's social studies, here's my science notebook, and here's ELA. And then addition to math, I'm really focusing on math and ELA. So here I have some tabs so that it's easier. So some tabs to locate the chapter. So chapter 1 is in quarter 1. Here's the title of the chapter, and I did that for each chapter for math as well as for reading. So every unit is labeled, and that'll help kind of navigate, okay, what assignments do I have, where do I need to locate to get help with what skills we're doing. And then I also am including a table of contents page, which is once again just to help organize them throughout the year, and so that they glue in their table of contents and then they just fill it in with what pages are associated throughout that chapter. So it's kind of hard to explain it, but maybe I can do like a practice run on a notebook and show you guys how I'm going to do it. But I need to go get my class from recess right now, so I will check in with you guys a little bit later, and maybe we can find some resources that we need to include, print, or prepare for. So all right, hey you guys, so I am here on lunch. I have my food warmed up for me and I'm ready to eat, but I'm going to try to simultaneously get some work done as far as looking up resources, which is not bad because I usually just sit here on my computer anyway. So I'm gonna have my computer out and I'm gonna kind of just go through the first unit of our reading curriculum and gather any resources that could be helpful for my students to be gluing in for unit 1. And so when it comes to reading, the curriculum we have 6 units. Each unit has 5 weeks. Well, it has 6 weeks, but we only do 5 weeks because our sixth week is always writing. So something I know I need to find is like maybe create a tab for writing, so that towards the end of our notebooks we have just a tab for writing, so they can access all their writing resources and they can do their drafts in that section. Then the other 5 weeks we do reading, we do grammar, we do listening comprehension, so all of that stuff. So something else I know that I want to include in their glue-ins is going to be a data chart, which I already have a hard copy. I just need to make copies for their notebooks so that they can keep track of how they are performing on each assessment. Something else I'm going to go through the unit to see what else I could use that could be helpful, and then I'm going to just go on my computer, look up resources, maybe make something that could be helpful for that unit. And then I plan to do that every unit, just so that the handouts that I provide them and the glue-ins can go in order and not just be like randomly sporadically placed like you saw in my previous notebook. For math, we have 11 chapters and I sectioned off my tabs based on the quarter, so each quarter has so many chapters. So for example, when it comes to math, I know that chapter 1 focuses on place value and decimals, and so what I've already done to prepare for chapter 1 is I printed off some, I'll show you guys in just a second. I printed off some place value, little anchor, I don't know what they're called. It's not an anchor chart because an anchor chart is usually like a big poster, but it's like a mini version of a big poster. So I already printed off a place value chart, then like multiplication table, things that they will need to access in their notebooks. And so those are like things that I want to prepare in advance so that all their glue-ins and their things that they can use are accessible for the first few chapters. And okay, so let's look at week 1. So for week 1, they're going to need to know the standard for sequencing. And so I'm going to look and see if I could find something for sequence. And like I can either recreate this or just like kind of show them like sequencing words, use these words to explain something in order. You have beginning words, middle words, and end words. This is just to help them practice sequencing off. So literally I can print this and just cut this part out and have them use this as their example in their notebook to help them. Alright, so since I briefly explained and talked about some of the things that I've been working on as far as preparing for next year, something I spent some of my time on the weekend working on was creating some weekly assessments. And so I want to show you guys that as well as my student rubric. So here's the student rubric. I basically went through and created a learning goal for every standard that we focus on. So this goal is I can read for comprehension and recognize when I need to reread a text, and then I basically pull questions from their weekly assessment and I organize them based on the standard. So these questions are kind of reread comprehension questions. These questions are more making inferences using text evidence, and then these are vocabulary strategies, which this week is using context clues. And so I separated their rubric like that, and then at the end of their assessment they're going to be receiving their score right away. And if they missed numbers 2, 4, and 7, they mark how many questions they were able to get correct. If they got like a 0 or 1, then they mark I'm still learning it. And this is a way that they are able to focus on that skill, which is reading standard number 1. And so the same thing would happen here. Goal number 2, they are able to rate themselves and see, do I understand the standard or do I need more practice? And then they kind of go in and explain, I know these standards, I don't know these ones yet, and then what new skills or practices can they incorporate to help them next week. And so this is their rubric that they will be given every Friday when they take their weekly assessment, and this will help them reflect and improve and also easily see their scores so that they're not just kind of guessing through. So here's one of them. Okay, let me go to the same assessment. So here's the Unit 1 Week 1 assessment, where it lists the standards they're focusing on, which is standard RL 5.1, 5.7, and then L5 for A. And then I wrote down the students' language, because they don't understand the standards in adult, like how teachers understand the standards, but they will understand it if I make it into a goal for them. And so that is how I broke up the goal. It gives them their definition for their goals. And then I wrote in each question that they will be able to take, and then at the end they mark who was their teacher, and then we are able to go to collect results, and then all of the teachers will be able to see and access the results of this assessment, and then that will kind of be our gauge for like how are we doing in reading and are we preparing them for, you know, the state test. So I have created 3 quizzes or tests out of 5 for the first unit, and so I do have 2 more I want to make. I'll probably work on making those over the summer, because once I got a hang of how to do it, it wasn't that long. The hardest part was honestly creating like the writing in all of the standards, creating my template. And so once I had that down, like it was pretty easy. So that's pretty much it for this video, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed kind of walking through how I plan to prep my interactive notebooks and kind of assessments for next year. I don't know how organized this video is, but I did my best. It's kind of hard to explain my thought process, but I did what I could, and hopefully it's helpful. And if you have any questions, just let me know down below. Once again, I teach 5th grade, so if you teach a different grade level, maybe it'll look a little bit different for you, but for me, this is what I want to do, and this has been something I have been trying to get to for the longest. Like when I was teaching middle school math, we did like an interactive notebook where I did create the tabs and they did glue ins, but they mainly did their notes in there. But I want to just do better each year. I want to just make it a little bit more effective and more helpful for not only me but my students, and so our notes are all organized and easily accessible. And if I'm able to prepare them with organization and get them ready for middle school, then that's what I'm trying to do. And so thank you guys again for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna eat my lunch and enjoy the rest of my day. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.